Hi, this is Mark Finn here at the Ritz-Carlton in Philadelphia at HRO Today. I'm here with Jason Kerr, the founder and CTO at Findly. Jason, how are you finding the conference so far?
Well, I've been here for 45 minutes, so that 45 minutes has been pretty good.
Straight in from New Zealand, hey?
Yeah, I got in on the early burner, so a little tired, but glad to be here.
How many coffees so far?
Only six.
Six.
Six, yeah.
Well,
Not a single shot. Come on.
right. Well, those six coffees definitely set you up well for the session you presented earlier today. It was a fantastic session.
Good.
One of the themes I was picking up that you were talking about was on-demand talent, and what does that mean in the future?
Yeah, on-demand talent's this notion that if we are able to find people, and if we are able to capture them and keep them engaged, that's good. But if we're able to get them closer through that engagement to the point where we can hire them faster, more on demand, that's really where it's at. So on-demand talent's all about capturing people who like us, who are interested in us, engaging them in a conversation such that they remain interested in, and through that conversation, collecting pieces of information about them that enable us to hire the right people faster. That becomes an on-demand situation.
Right, and what would be the first point of call when you are looking for on-demand talent in your mind? Where should you go to first to try and access this on-demand talent?
Well, you can't access on-demand talent. You build on-demand talent.
Right.
It's this thing that takes time and care and feeding. It's like growing a plant or a child or whatever. The notion of on-demand is you can't be on-demand. I mean, on-demand in today's world is post a job and someone applies to it. That's on-demand talent in today's world. In tomorrow's world, on-demand talent is I have people already who are warm and interested to me, and they've done things or provided information, or we know things about them, such that when we ask them to apply, we already have a good view of the outcome. And on-demand swings two ways. If I'm a company, can I push a button and hire someone who is going to perform better in the job? That would be on-demand. From a job seeker, it's the same equation. Can I get notified of a job that I will have a better chance of getting should I apply, and I'll perform better at it if I got it? That would be on-demand from a job seeker. So bringing those two on-demand views together is what we're trying to do.
Right, and you see those close people that have provided strong referrals in the past as ambassadors of the company, and they need to be thought about in that context as well.
I think what we were referring to there is that there are people inside your company, employees, who are also assets that you can leverage in this situation. I mean, everyone's got an employee referral program, but how do I apply an on-demand situation to employee referral? And the way that we're looking at doing that is to take the performance of the people that you refer, right, and giving those employees in our business the first opportunity to refer others,
right,
because they have a better outcome. Their people are more on demand, they perform better.
Right, and how do you see, obviously there's a big rise of the contingent and the freelance workforce, and people out there are trying to understand how they can tap into that contingent and freelance workforce, but also have structure around their existing employees and full-time employees as well. How do you see on-demand talent fitting in with the contingent workforce?
Well, if you just take the word on-demand talent, it's pretty clear that this notion of on-demand is going to extend into contingent, right? And if you took a community of people that you were able to build, engage, and collect credentials from them such that they're more on demand, the next logical step for those people is to become fully contingent. And if you were to say to a company, kind of a Maslow's hierarchy of who you'd go after,
right,
you're going to go after the people who are interested in me, are highly credentialed, have got some indication of how they'll perform. I'm going to talk to those people first. To the people who are interested in me, that know people in my company, who have referred people in the past that work well, down to people that are interested in me. The next step down is going to be, well, why wouldn't I go to the alumni who's worked for me before on a contingent basis? And I think on-demand is going to bleed from people I know inside my own community to people that perhaps I know or other companies like me know in a contingent community. And I think those two things are going to bleed over time.
One of the speakers yesterday said that work is a thing, not a place, and given that you can work from anywhere now for some jobs, not for all jobs, it does open up the talent pool, the potential pool of candidates, particularly in a contingent case, that you can build a community around or engage with. How do you see the sort of globalization and interconnectivity of all this playing out?
Yeah, I think it already happens, right? It just doesn't happen in a structured way. Guys like Manpower have started trying to structure it, and they've got details in their offices on paper, unfortunately, about past performance, and that's just going to change rapidly. Much like Uber has changed the landscape of booking a limousine or a taxi, I think it's not going to be evolution; it's going to be revolution that changes the next piece around contingent. We have some ideas on what that may be, but I think the interesting comment of work is a thing and not a place. It's I kind of debate if work is even a thing, right? It's a big part of your life, and life's not a thing, right? Life's a journey, and I think what's going to happen is more people understand that they can control a bigger part of their life through contingent, and that more opportunity in the new economy is able to be outsourced, offshore, in-home contingent type work. You're going to find a lot of people changing the way that they view work from things and places to part of their life, and contingent gives them the ability to do that.
How far down that road do you think we are now, say, versus 5 years' time? How rapid do you think the acceleration of the contingent workforce will be?
Yeah, I think there's two probably things that are going to start that. The baby boomers retiring is one big issue. There's another issue that we don't train people for some of the trades anymore that were kind of contingent, the early contingent plumbers, electricians, etc. And there's going to be a problem there, and I think those kind of gaps are going to give rise to people who don't go the traditional route to get there. So in my day, I started out as an electrician. I got an apprenticeship and I crawled under houses and dug holes in sewers and all that kind of jazz. Yeah. And you had to go through that route. But I think as a skill gap in the market starts to create, it's going to give people to go directly to become contingent, because the tools are going to make such that they can connect with people.
And opportunities
they never had before.
Right. You talked about acquiring, engaging, and filtering talent as 3 steps or parts of on-demand talent. Yep. I'm going to zoom in on the filtering side of things. Given that we can access so many candidates and so many opportunities, given the interconnected world that we're working in, what technology or skills or platforms do you think people need to assess the contingent workforce on that filtering part of it?
Yeah, that's really interesting, because a traditionalist would say we need psychometric graph measurement, we need 360-degree performance, we need all this kind of stuff. And there's a couple of pieces about measurement. Do you read books? You read a lot of Kindle books?
I've read a couple.
Okay. So I read like 5 books a week, and I get them on Kindle. And so I get them from Amazon, and it's become clear to me that my measurement for trusting what a good book is it above 4 stars by more than 400 people? Right. And I think when you come down to some skills or some jobs or some opportunities, kind of a very simplistic social score from employers that have used that talent in the past, outcomes,
can say a lot.
It actually says enough, because a lot of the things that we need, I need the job done.
Right.
And do I really need all this other stuff? Not really. I just need it done. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to find democratization of the way we measure people, and especially as you globalize skill, the only way to measure it on a consistent standard is to democratize it to some very basic level. Right.
So with digital interviews or video interviews, for example, there's platforms out there that allow them to be saved in the cloud, and then the employing workforce can then collaborate around that selection and assessment process. What are your thoughts on the adoption of those type of platforms?
I'm in two minds, to be honest. I understand the attraction of a video interview. I don't need to fly there. I can see the person, how they react, how they interact. So I'm in two minds, because what the video interview doesn't do for me is select that person out of 500,000.
Right.
And I've got to spend time and energy. I mean, it's a great qualifier, the last 2 or 3 that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
But as a filtering, credentialing technology to make me that choice in the first place, I don't think it's going to play a part.
Right. So it needs to be part of other tools in the selection assessment process. It's not a standalone thing that's going to get you there. It has to be part of a broader platform.
Yeah, I think there are features and there are tools, right?
Right.
And then there are solutions.
Yeah.
And a lot of features and a lot of tools create a solution. I think what everyone tries to do is over-feature, over-tool solutions. I think the reality is the talent is going to drive what the solution becomes. And I think it's going to be simpler than everyone thinks it is.
Right. Jason, you had a slide today that talked about a really successful example of a client of yours using on-demand talent. I was hoping you could just share a few of those results with us.
Yeah, that was I don't want to say an anomaly, but it was a great outcome. We hope to be repeating that outcome with many more clients. But this was a very large retail client. They've got a community of about 9 million odd people. And they have a traditional seasonal hiring issue. 30 to 40,000 people every year. They start in typically August for November, shelf stacking, December, etc. And it's usually a long and quite expensive process, which requires a lot of advertising and mass filtering. So we said to them, well, why don't we try and test this notion of on-demand in this very simplistic way, which is, can we ask our community to help us?
Right.
And the community, if they are truly on demand, will step up to the plate, right? So the outcome was that we put together a very, very simplistic game using some social mechanics, and we asked the community to help. We said, hey, we're hiring 30,000 people, I think it was. Do you know anyone that would like a seasonal job, or if you'd like one yourself, come and apply, play this game, and have a bit of fun. Yep. And the community really stepped up. About 1.6 million people actually did something to help other people.
Wow.
And to help the company.
Wow.
By sharing and talking and applying. And we generated, about 120,000 brand new candidates for the company that they've never seen before. We also generated about 750,000 applies from the community itself. And we filled those. There was a lot of things we did as well. There's a lot of social sharing and stuff that happened. About 10,000 likes on Facebook in 2 weeks. For the company, which was more than the company had itself. Right. So it was kind of interesting. But the reality was, in 14 or 15 days, I think it was, this community got together, did what we asked them to do, and a lot of the people did it for other people's benefit, which was really encouraging. Right. And we were able to place 30,000 odd hires through that activity, and of course there's no cost to that.
I really just want to emphasize there the use of the word community. I think that is sort of a new word that's entering in the lexicon of recruitment here.
Yeah, and I think it's overused, to be honest. I think most people right now have what's called a network. It's not really a community. Right. Community, and even us, we're getting towards a community. Okay. We're kind of there.
So what's the difference between a community and a network?
Well, a community goes to a coffee shop and hangs out and talks together between each other, right? And unless your candidates in this place that you're building are talking to each other and sharing things, it's not a community. It's just a network of people.
Right.
So right now, most things are networks. We're moving from network to true community.
Right.
And when you can build a true community, they do things like we asked our network to do, which is, can you communicate with each other and help? And we're not there yet totally, but I think that's the real difference between community and network.
Right. So just to clarify, an example would be like a concentric circle where community is in the middle, and then the network's the next one out, and community is part of the network, but it's a much tighter and closer part of that network.
Well, yeah, probably a more stark example is this. Your ATS has people in it. Is it a community or a network?
Yep.
It's just a thing full of people that have done something similar.
Right, sure.
Facebook is a community.
Yep.
It's people who talk with each other,
yep.
Right? And the people in your network are the people you talk to.
Yep.
So I think that's the difference. Right now, most people that are building talent communities, they're really just databases. Until you can network those people together and build a community.
An engagement.
There you go. And I think that engagement, you can't be the sole motivator or instigator of engagement. The community needs to start engaging itself.
Sure. And how did the client react to this great success story?
Oh, I was pretty happy about that.
Right. Fantastic.
We just got to repeat it next year,
Right. Or increase it, make it better. Right. Well, thanks for stopping in and having a chat with us here today. Again, fantastic building, beautiful day in Philly, and another exciting day of presentations.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go over to Independence Hall and see where the Liberty Bell was crafted and the Constitution was signed, so it should be a good day.
And hopefully you can get some sleep sometime soon.
That's overrated.
Thanks.
Cheers.